My name's Rex McCrill and this is Business Calm. It's a real pleasure to be here with Julia Murray today from the House Ministry. She's Director and Chief Designer of the House Ministry, and we've worked together. So Julia's a client of mine and creates wonderful, wonderful designs. So I'm here just to hear from her about the insights and realisations about the experience that we had working together, and also to hear about the wonderful interior designs that she does and how she serves clients so well. So real pleasure to be with you here today, Julia.
Hi Rex, thank you very much for inviting me onto your podcast.
Yeah, that's a real pleasure. So would you please just tell the listeners a little bit about what your business situation was when we met and what it was that meant that you thought about working with me?
Well, it was about September 2020, so lockdown and COVID had been running for about 6-8 months by then, and like most people, my work had really ceased overnight, which gave me time to sit back and think about the business and start to wonder what I could do to change somehow, move with the times. And actually it was really difficult for reasons I think everybody knows, that people weren't allowed to go into others' houses. Confidence had vanished overnight. And it became increasingly worrying, thinking, well, I actually thought I'll never work again because it feels so like the plug had been completely pulled.
Wow,
and so,
that's quite scary, isn't it?
Yeah. And really I was starting to feel overwhelmed by all the ideas that I had as to what could I do to change the situation, get the business onto a good footing, to be able to take advantage of things when they opened up. Everything was being done on Zoom. That helped me to explore designing and communicating with people through Zoom. But really, in effect, the reason I came to you, Rex, was because my head was full of ideas and noise, and I couldn't make any sense of the direction in, which was the best way to go.
Oh, well, thank you. And, I'm delighted that you thought of me when you had so much going on, so much overwhelm and thought about all those things happening and going on. And are you able to crystallise what it is that you wanted from our conversations and our work together?
I actually, having done a workshop with you earlier in 2020, I had a sort of understanding of some of the things that you were trying to help us all to achieve that day, thinking about being able to step back and reflect. And so it was really, I wanted to get some headspace. I wanted to clear my mind of everything that was going on and work out the best path forward. Which idea should I follow up? Which was the right one to do? How did I make sense of everything that was popping into my head?
Clear your mind, or the phrase that I would use is a bit of business calm.
Yes.
So, as you'd expect. Yeah. So what happened then?
Well, we had a number of sessions working together, and each one built on the previous. I would think for me it was understanding how to think in a slightly different way and have you guide me through all the things that I was thinking about, what was taking up mental space, and starting to look at what they were and how could I solve them, or look at them in the order of importance. And so so the first couple were really getting used to thinking in a slightly different way, and then after that it became looking at particular issues and working on them to resolve them so I could move forward.
Right. So helping you with your thinking, setting some foundation and grounding, getting really grounded in a good space.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then looking at the business issues, the challenges that you actually faced.
Yes. That's good
Wonderful.
Assessment. Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you. No, I'm just reflecting back what you said. It's good to hear that was your experience, because indeed that was the intention of the process and the step that we went through. And is there anything you'd like to say about what it was like to work in that space and work together in that space?
Well, it was very enlightening. I have to say it wasn't the most comfortable journey from the start through to reaching a point of clarity. But, I mean, that surely is part of when we step back and look at what our thoughts are, quite often it isn't a comfortable experience, because it's a realisation about myself and how I think and deal with things. So, the point of it being the starting point where I was and where I ended up where I wanted to be, and I had lots of clarity.
And that's wonderful, isn't it? So a little bit of uncomfortable, experiencing something new, experiencing something different, looking things in a different way, and then that creating clarity for you that really helped you with your business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it actually helped me with me first and foremost, because unless I got myself sorted out, the business wouldn't.
Right.
So,
and that's so important, isn't it? Because business isn't a thing, it's people. It's all about people. And yes, we're in the world of business, but also we start out from the place of being people first.
Yeah, most
so
definitely.
that really helped you then.
It did.
Yeah. And so were there any particular realisations that came to you?
Oh, yes, quite a few, actually. I don't know whether you want me to go into particular detail. Maybe I won't.
Just some
but,
simple examples that you're comfortable with. It's only what you're comfortable with.
Well, I think some of it, as I say, it's the realisation with how I might approach difficult situations. Like lots of people in business, you can self-sabotage, and, there's the imposter syndrome. Yes, I very much had all of that on the back of no work for 4 or 5 months. It's a very uncomfortable position to be in, and lots of other people out there will have felt that. So understanding that it wasn't necessarily all about me, but there were still some things I could do to improve my confidence. That was a big realisation. And also people around me, other business connections, how I was dealing with them. There was just lots of realisation about all the different, if you think of a hub, a wheel, and I might be the centre of it in my own world and the business I'm in, but looking at all of those spokes, where do they lead to, and how are those relationships working? Could they be better? Could I make better use of them? Am I exploring all the avenues that I need to in order to try to bring in work and look at different options for moving the business forward? So it's those sorts of things that I found really helpful. As I say, it's thinking about things in a different way.
That's really interesting, isn't it? Being able to look and see things in a different way that were there before,
yes,
but from a place of great clarity,
yeah,
and from a place of being really grounded so that you could engage with that. That's fabulous. Can you tell us something about the actions that you've taken and the results that you've achieved?
Yeah, I think the actions were to start to look at what the order of events were, the priorities that I wanted to set. And again, that's part of that, being able to step back and think with greater clarity. And so I sort of set myself some goals and targets and started to work towards them, and people that I needed to make connections with, so started to do that as well. Yeah, so it's paying off. Like everything, it takes time, but it's having that plan to work towards is good.
And so you're now following that plan, you're now delivering the business, you've attracted customers, you're working.
Yes.
And enjoying that work, serving people wonderfully, as your designs are so wonderful. Yeah, no, they really are. Well, you've spent time with my wife, and she says, no, you can't put that chair in there. Julia and I have plans for that room. So you've really landed with her as well, with other clients. That's fantastic.
Good.
Yes. Is there anything else you'd like to say, or any thoughts or closing remarks?
I think it was a really, really good foundation for me to be able to move forward. It completely resolved that overwhelmed feeling. And yeah, I do look back at my notes actually that I took during our different sessions together, and it's a good reminder and a refresher. But it's like being able to step up onto a podium to move everything else forward. It gave me, as I say, a lot of clarity, but a plan and a confidence about moving forward. And so I was able to build on that. So it was like the first really good foundation, stepping stone for me to get myself out of that feeling of overwhelm and be able to move forward with confidence. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Julia. And please do go and look at Julia's website. It's thehouseministry.co.uk. And she's got wonderful designs there, and she'd be delighted to speak with you and help you in any way. Julia, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure.